In this week's Parsha, we have a tremendously important mitzvah regarding helping our brother that has become poor. The Torah says, "V'chi yamuch achicha umata yado imach." When your brother becomes poor, mata, and slips with you, imach with you, v'hachazakta bo, you should strengthen him. So, an interesting point is, what does it mean he becomes poor with you? Obviously, we don't mean that both are becoming poor, because then you can't help. So we'll come back to what does it mean with you. Now, there's a fascinating commentary that the rabbis tell us that when the Torah says you should strengthen him, it's specifically pointing out to strengthen him before he falls. Because once a person falls, it's not strengthening them, it's picking them up. And so the Rashi that brings this commentary explains it with a parable. If, for example, a donkey that's very heavily loaded with many, many packages as its burden, if it buckles and falls, says Rashi in the name of the rabbis, that this donkey will be impossible to pick up with even 5 men helping. So once this animal has fallen under its load, even 5 people cannot pick it up. And therefore, the Torah is cautioning us, prevent the donkey from falling, because once it falls, even 5 people cannot raise it, and therefore strengthen your brother before he falls, not after he falls. So the obvious question is, really? 5 people cannot help a fallen donkey? 1 person loaded it up, 2 people loaded it up. Why can't 5 people figure out how to get this donkey up with the packages that it has already been carrying? And my answer is, it seems that the Torah is telling us that once this donkey falls, it no longer believes it can get up and carry its burden. And that's what happens with people when they break. And the Torah is cautioning us to be sensitive that when a person might be slipping is the time to intervene to strengthen them. Because once they stop believing in themselves, then they can no longer carry their own burden. That's why the Torah uses the word, when your brother slips with you, when he becomes poor and he slips with you, meaning we need to feel our brother's nuances. We need to be so connected that we understand that a person is slipping not only after they've fallen and it's become obvious because now they're in bankruptcy, or now they're physically broken, or now they're mentally completely checked out because they're depressed or other problems. And so the Torah is telling us how to live in a community with our fellow brothers is to be enough sensitized that we can tell when somebody is slipping. And on top of that, the only way to really help them is before they fall, because once they fall, they stop believing in themselves. Now, this is common in the world today, where people love to adopt the attitude, because I cannot, you are required to pick me up. You are required to service me, to support me, to help me do everything that I actually really need to do for myself. But the best way to help someone is specifically by giving them the understanding that they can carry their own weight. And then what you can do is you can incentivize them before they become completely disbelieving in themselves, that, hey, look, let me help you, show you how you can succeed. Yeah, I'll give you a little support, I'll give you a little help now, but then you will know that you can really do this yourself. And that's the most phenomenal way to help a person, because then what you've done is you've really strengthened them, not helped them. In today's world, we know how many people have these demands of entitlements. We know that people like to play the card that they cannot, and therefore other people must step in and save them. And that's very, very unhealthy, not only for the giver, who doesn't always have unlimited resources and time, but also for the recipient, because then you have not really helped them. And unfortunately, whether it's a woke mentality or a victim mentality, people like to think that other people owe them, that they have to give to them because of their special interest. But the truth is, the only thing that really works is not woke, it's self-work. It's the work that a person does to help themselves, and other people can help them help themselves. But what's impossible is to help someone after they've stopped believing or willing to help themselves. Hopefully we can live with this kind of care for each other, that we know when people are really slipping, step in to give them the feeling that they have the ability to really get up, pick themselves up, carry their own weight, and God willing, become sources to help other people as well.